Hey, you guys. So we got an update. So Carmelo Anthony has a lawyer that is joining his appeals team as he cannot pay for counsel. So y'all, let's get into it. So it says Frisco, Texas. Carmelo Anthony has secured another lawyer in his fight to appeal his conviction. He was tried and convicted and sentenced to 35 years behind bars earlier this month for the unaliving of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet in Fresco, Texas. He has since filed a notice of appeal. Collin County court records indicate criminal defense attorney Laura Barcamonte Davila is his current court-appointed lawyer. Before Barcamonte Davila was appointed, Fox News Digital learns that the court briefly appointed criminal defense attorney Donnie Perales. He is no longer representing Anthony. While Barcamonte Davila is the current court-appointed appellate attorney, in an email to Fox News Digital, Perales said it is expected that that the Anthony family will retain an attorney for the appeal. Court records indicate days after his June 9th conviction, Anthony appealed for what is known as TDFA, indigent packet, in his appeal, which, according to the Texas Fair Defense Act, is where a defendant can apply for court-appointed attorney if he or she is ineligible. To qualify for a defendant, to qualify, a defendant must prove he or she cannot afford legal representation. Anthony said he was a penniless, destitute, and indigent person too poor to employ counsel to represent me on the appeal in a court document he filed on his own. It says Fox News Digital previously reported that records indicate that Anthony's family was tied to several businesses in Louisiana and Texas, and even opened businesses weeks before. I'm not sure of that. I cannot confirm or deny that. But however, it is said that Carmelo's family is possibly going to attain a appeals lawyer for his appeals case. Now, with that being said, we know that Carmelo Anthony's trial and his case really, to me and to a lot of people, was unjust. It wasn't fair. The mother, Kayla, even said those kids lied on the stand. They all lied, basically. And this is what a lot of people are saying. They said all the kids' stories basically are lies. They said they also had some kind of ball in their hand. You know, they have like stress balls, but all of them had it every time each one of them testified on the stand. And that those kids were really truly really basically trained to tell what they wanted to tell as far as the prosecution team for being their what am I trying to say? Witnesses. There you go. I'm like, spit it out. But I think that he will win the appeals case because I believe it was unjust too. When they first didn't even have a juror of his peers. Let's start there. Then when they were saying that the witnesses, people who were in the court said the witnesses, when they were being questioned, when they were testifying, the DA, the prosecution team, was basically saying, so did Karmelo commit murder? They were like, yes. You can't ask a witness that, from what I'm being told, of course. What would they know about what really the definition or what that really entails as far as being charged for that? So all these things is just like weird, very suspicious in nature. And as far as Jeff Metcalf, I do believe that he's racist. I do believe that. Just my opinion. And I believe that he didn't go to Dominique the representative for the family, his name is Dominique. They were having something, I believe it was in Dominique's office, and it was like, I think, a prayer or something they were having. And then next thing you know, Jeff shows up. Jeff Metcalf shows up. Now, had that been the other way around, y'all, that would have been a terrible situation. I don't think he was coming there to bring peace and all this other stuff. I don't believe that. And anybody who says or believes that, I don't believe that, not for one moment. His racist rant was so disgusting. He called Carmelo Anthony's mother, Kayla, a drunk bee. That's crazy. How do you know she's a drunk bee?
Yes.
How do you know that? You're absent father. You even said you live an hour away from them. So how are you going to call somebody a drunk bee when you're absent father? You know, then you saying things about Carmelo's father. But Carmelo's father, you know, yeah, they're a whole family. Yeah, and then you had all these things to say about black people, baby mamas, and all kind of food stamps and all these other things. When you, sir, were not even living in the same house, under the same four corners as your children. But what I do believe is that Jeff raised his boys to be racist. I'm sorry. To be that other races are beneath them, that they're like supposed to be in charge. It's always about them. Like as a white person, that, you know, these things is what, you know, what they're entitled to as living here, I guess, in America. But the things that he was saying was so disgusting. But I pray and I do believe that Carmelo Anthony will get a fair appeal if everything is presented properly. If they gather all of their witnesses and also gather all of the like the the experts, they get all the experts in there, tell about, you know, Carmelo having seizures, things that you know, probably kind of onset a seizure, or things that could make him react, being that he is epileptic in those tense type of situations. But we just keeping, you know, the faith. We're going to pray for the Carmelo Anthony family. Said that Austin lost his life, but at the same time, I believe that this was self-defense, and it's going to show if these appellate lawyers do their due diligence and you know, present a case. Like, they need somebody like they need Brian Steele in this situation. Brian Steele was a beast. When I went to the Diddy trial, Brian Steele and the whole team was a beast. But we know how expensive that was, because it was a lot. But y'all, needless to say, Carmelo Anthony has a new appellate attorney for his appeals case. And y'all, we're going to stay tuned and see how this transpires. But y'all, leave with love, peace, and tranquility, as I always say. And y'all, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.